I used to think family pranks were harmless. You know, hiding the TV remote, changing the Wi-Fi password, stuff you'd laugh about later. But the summer I turned 21, I learned some jokes cut so deep they don't leave bruises. They leave scars. Some jokes are a message. You were never welcome here. And the scariest part? I'd lived with these people my entire life, called them family. Now that word tastes like ash in my mouth. My name is Harper. I was 21 that year, living in a cramped, suffocating house in Idaho, what my dad, Carl, called the family nest. The only thing warm in that place was the rage that burned behind my eyes. College? Off the table. Not because I didn't want to go, but because, in my dad's words, college is for dreamers with no grip on reality. According to him, if I could count money, work with my hands, and keep my mouth shut, I'd do just fine. So I worked, nearly full-time at his hardware store. Open the warehouse in the morning, inventory in the afternoon, clean, close, repeat, no salary, just a few $100 he called spending money. Meanwhile, my brother Kevin, the golden child, breezed in once in a while, whistled, cracked jokes, then vanished again. Carl saw him as his legacy, his mirror, his pride. Me? I was the invisible glue that held the store and the house together. Unseen, unthanked, unwanted. My mom, Susan, was gentle, but not supportive. Her go-to line was, "Don't talk back to your father. You know how he gets." She never raised her voice. But she also never raised a hand to stop the constant belittling, like when I walked 5 miles home because Kevin broke and ditched my bike. I got home, drenched in sweat, my feet raw. My dad's greeting? "I thought you were dead on the side of the road, you useless bitch." Kevin just laughed and said, "You sure you're not better off at a dog shelter?" I was used to it. Doesn't mean it didn't still cut. Cruelty doesn't lose its edge just because it's routine. That summer I didn't expect much. I'd learned not to. But I never expected that. The moment when a so-called joke shattered everything and left me at a rest stop in the middle of nowhere, abandoned like I was nothing. Because to them I was. It started with a family trip to Uncle Jerry's wedding in Colorado. No one asked if I could take time off work. No one asked if I even wanted to go. Dad just announced it and said, "No objections, period." So I got stuffed in the back of the SUV with the luggage and a leaking foam cooler. Kevin drove like he was auditioning for Fast and Furious, family dysfunction. They spent the whole ride mocking me, highlight reels of my worst moments. My mom? Silent as always. Her eyes told me she wanted to help, but she never did. Day 4, somewhere near Glenwood Springs. We stopped at a desolate rest area surrounded by dusty hills and distant snow-capped peaks. "I need the bathroom," I said. Dad replied, "Make it quick, you're not royalty." I stepped out, no phone, it was charging in the car. Wallet buried in the bags. I was gone maybe 8 minutes. When I came back out, the SUV was gone. At first, I thought it was a joke. They'd pull around from the other side of the building laughing, but minutes passed. Then an hour. Then 2. They never came back. I told a passing trucker I was waiting for friends. He believed me. Of course he did. I'd spent my life learning how to fake being fine. Eventually, a woman with a small boy let me borrow her phone. I almost called my dad. But then the memories hit me like a freight train. Him tossing my college application in the trash. Kevin hiding my winter coat in the snow. Mom watching it all with silent guilt. I couldn't call them. Instead, I asked the woman if there was a shelter nearby. She hesitated, but her son tugged her hand and whispered, "Mom, can we help her?" And that's how I ended up in the backseat of a stranger's car, heading toward a shelter called Safe Haven. The man at the front door of the shelter, Max, didn't ask for an ID. He just looked at me and said, "You need help?" I nodded. "Come in, young lady. We'll figure it out." one step at a time. The next morning, I woke up in a bunk bed, surrounded by the smell of bleach and old sheets. It wasn't luxury, but for the first time in my life, it felt safe. Breakfast was watery oatmeal and a bruised apple. I ate it like it was a 5-course meal. Max let me use a computer to search for jobs. No ID, no paperwork, no family. I typed, "Cash Jobs, Grand Junction, Colorado." And there it was. One line, simple and direct. Dishwasher needed, Sonny's Diner, cash pay, start. Immediately, I borrowed a cap, laced up my ragged sneakers, and walked the 4 blocks to Sonny's. The woman behind the counter had gray hair streaked, with faded purple and a rose tattoo on her arm. She looked at me like she'd seen 100 girls just like me. "I saw the sign," I said. "I need a job. I don't have papers. I lost everything." She didn't blink. Just said, "I'm Geraldine. Last dishwasher quit yesterday. Don't steal. Don't screw up. Gloves are in the 3rd drawer." I got to work. I washed dishes until my fingers blistered, mopped floors, scrubbed toilets. At the end of the day, Geraldine handed me a $20 bill and a leftover sandwich. I nearly cried. A week in, she handed me a folder. "These are forms to replace your ID," she said. I called Idaho Records. "You can use Sonny's address. Don't live like a ghost forever." I didn't thank her, not because I wasn't grateful, but because I could tell Geraldine didn't want gratitude. She wanted effort. She wanted survival. 3 days later, I bought a prepaid phone. Just having it reminded me I existed. That night, it rang. My mother's voice crackled through, tearful, shaky. "Harper, is that you? Oh, God. We were so worried. It was just a joke. Your dad said he turned back but didn't see you." In the background, I heard my dad mutter, "She's sulking. Tell her to take a bus home." Then Kevin, "Damn, Harper. Who knew you were this dramatic?" I stayed quiet, then said, "If your goal was to see if I could survive on my own, congratulations, I'm doing it, and I'm not coming back." Then I hung up, blocked the number, deleted every contact tied to them. That night, I slept on a thin mattress behind the kitchen in the storage room at Sonny's. Smelled like bleach and burnt toast. But for the first time, I felt free. By fall, I had saved $300, enough to move out of the shelter and into a 1-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. No AC, creaky windows. Everything smelled like fabric softener. It was mine. I was still at Sonny's, but not just washing dishes anymore. Geraldine moved me up to prep cook, taught me how to flip eggs, dice onions, and command a kitchen like a general. One night, as I was closing up, she said, "You've got fight in you, Harper. Don't waste it." I don't know where my story's going next. I don't have all the answers. But I have something I never did before. A beginning that belongs to me. And that's more than they ever gave me. Harper, if you want to survive in this world, you've got to control every damn clink of a spoon on a plate. I see fire in your eyes. Don't let it go out. And I didn't. I held on to that fire like my life depended on it, because it did.